so you're ready to upload your app to Google Play. To do that, you will need a Google Developers account, and the paid version of which costs $25. And a great place to start is developers.google.com. From there, click the Android link. If the website layout has changed since this video was made, you can just go directly to developer.android.com. And there's actually a lot of really useful stuff to help you make your apps better and look better as well. So I would thoroughly recommend spending a bit of time on developer.android.com to know what Google considers great looking and well-functioning apps. When you're convinced that your app is ready though, we're going to jump over to the developer console. Again, if that link isn't there, just go directly to play.google.com/apps/publish and then click Add New Application. At this point, if you haven't already signed up as a Google Play developer, you'll be taken through the steps to do that. And then once you've paid the fee and completed the process, you'll be able to add your new application. And I'm actually going to add the currency converter app to take us back to the very beginning of the course and the first app that we made. So we can start by uploading the APK or preparing the store listing. I'm going to upload the APK. APK is short for Android Package, and it's a single file that contains everything that the Google Play Store needs to publish your app. We're going to start by uploading that, and then we'll just see all the other settings that you need to tweak to get your app published. So we do that over in Android Studio, and we start by clicking the Build Variants button at the bottom left there, and we're going to change from building a debug version of the app, which we've been using so far, to a release version of the app. So now Android Studio will produce for us a version of the app ready for release. We do, however, need to prove that we, and only we, have the ability to publish and create future versions of this app, and we do that with a process called signing. So in Android Studio, go to the Build menu and then Generate Signed APK. And we're going to generate a signed APK from the app module. And the key store is much like the PEM file that we used to prove ownership of our AWS instance. So unless you've got an existing one, we'll create a new file. And we start by creating the key store path, so just where it's going to be stored on our machine. I'm going to store it on the desktop. And I'm going to call it Currency Converter Key Store. You can of course store it wherever you like. I'd recommend somewhere nice and secure. So then I'm going to just choose password. For my password, I'd obviously recommend again that you'd choose something nice and complex there. Now that we've defined the key store location and password, we do the same for the key itself. So I'll call this Currency Converter Key, and I'll use the same password. Again, I'd recommend you use a different one, and I'll have the default validity of 25 years. And then I'll just fill in the details of the certificate. So first and last name, Rob Percival. Organizational unit, I'll just use my name again, and similarly for organization, but of course if you do have a specific organization you should use that there. And I'll put Cambridge, Cambridgeshire, UK. Alright, so that creates your key store, which can contain multiple keys for different apps if you want, and a specific key for this particular app, Currency Converter, and it gives the details of the certificate as well. And I'm going to choose to let Android Studio remember those passwords. It depends how secure your computer is as to whether or not you're happy to do that. Then we click Next. And we specify another password. So again, something nice and secure. Then we're going to generate our signed APK. The default settings will work fine. And then it will build that in exactly the same way that it does when you're running it on the simulator, except this time it will produce a final APK file. And there we go. So it's generated the signed APK. We'll reveal that in Finder. And there it is, right there in our app folder. So I'm now going to go back over to Google Chrome, click upload the first APK to production, and then we'll just drop in the file that we've generated. There we go. And that will then upload that, analyze it, and see if there are any issues with it before it can be published. And there we go. You can see it's been imported. It tells you how many devices it supports or excludes. And that's all it takes to upload your APK. The rest is now just a matter of updating your store listing and the various details for your app. So I'm sure you can come up with a short description and full description that describes your app well. Doing things like screenshots is a little bit more tricky. So I'm going to show you how you can do that within Android Studio itself. So we'll go back over to the debug version and we'll run the app in the simulator. And what I'm going to show you how to do is to get a screenshot directly from the simulator. You can of course use many real devices to get screenshots as well, but it can be convenient to get it directly from the machine. So there we go. Our app is now running in the simulator. Hopefully that'll bring back some memories for you. So to get a screenshot of that particular screen, we simply press the camera button there. And it takes a little while, but there we go. There's our lovely screenshot. And it's nice and high quality as well. So if we want to save that, we just click save. And for me, I'll put it on the desktop itself. And then we go back over to Chrome, add a screenshot, and upload that image. Of course, you can do the same thing for tablet screen sizes, Android TV, Android Wear, etc. So that's how you develop screenshots very easily for your Google Play app. And I'd recommend having lots of screenshots to encourage people to look at your app and see very quickly what it does. The next thing you need to upload is a high-res icon and feature graphic. Now that's something that you'll need to develop for yourself, or you could simply pay someone to create. You can do it very cheaply on a website such as Fiverr.com, or you could spend a little bit more money and use something like Freelancer.com or 99 Designs if you want something that looks a little more professional. Again, you can use promo graphics and TV banners as well if you really want to go all out, and upload a video. A screencast of your app is a great way to show people what your app does before they have to download it. So this can be a great thing to create and is quite easy to do as well. Then we just choose the various features of the app. So is it an app or a game? Choose some categories. So I'll choose business there. And I think everyone can use this currency converter. Then you can put in your website and email address, phone number if you like, and a privacy policy, or you can leave that blank if don't store any user data as part of your app. So then we'll go back to the top and save draft. And then jump down to the next one. You may have noticed that on the content rating question below, you needed to fill in a questionnaire. So I'm not going to run through this whole process for you. It's just a matter of answering honestly about what data your app could display. The only place you really need to be careful is if you're potentially allowing users to access the web, for example, then they could access any content through your app. So make sure to make that clear. And then our last section there is pricing and distribution. So if it's free, everything's nice and simple. If you want to have a paid app, then you'll need to set up a merchant account, which is simply a matter of adding your bank account details and giving Google a way to pay you. Then you can choose what will likely be all the countries for people to download your app in. You need to specify whether your app has ads or not, whether your app has an Android Wear, Android TV, or Android Auto component, whether you want to opt into these various user programs, and confirming whether you're happy for Google Play marketing to occur, that we meet the Android content guidelines, and acknowledging that your software application may be subject to US export laws. So again, we'll save the draft there. And then the final two sections there are if you're using any in-app products, then you add those there. And similarly, if you're using any services and APIs such as cloud messaging, in-app billing, etc., then you can set those up there as well. Then once you've gone through and filled in all of those sections, you'll be able to publish the app, and within a few hours it should be live for the world to download. The next step after publishing is of course letting me know. On Twitter, I'm TechEdRob, and I love to see all of the apps that my students make, and I'll be very happy to tweet your app launch out to the world. Once you've done that, you'll probably be wanting a website for your app to be able to point people towards on the web, and maybe collect email addresses of those interested in your apps and services, and to better explain to people what your app does. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to create using the free hosting that comes with this course in the next section.